You're listening to the 10-Minute Bible Hour podcast. It's fast, fun, free, daily deep dive Bible, and right now we're working on the book of Nehemiah. If you're new, welcome. You can jump in right here, or you can always go back and start at the beginning of any season. The whole podcast is available in an easy-to-use format at thetmbh.com.
Hey everybody, it's Matt. This is the 10-Minute Bible Hour podcast, and normally this is a podcast where we talk and say words with our mouths like talking people, like how normal podcasts are. But today, we're in Nehemiah chapter 10, and Nehemiah chapter 10, like a lot of stuff in the twin books of Ezra and Nehemiah, which are kind of a prequel and a sequel that we've been working on, there's a list of names of people who were important, who participated in a thing. Remembrance is a very important theme in the books of Ezra and Nehemiah. The idea is that here at the end of the narrative stuff of the Old Testament, they're trying to make sense of where they've been and where they are now and where they're going next, they being the descendants of Abraham. They've decided as a people, after a couple generations earlier, they rebuilt the temple, and after a generation earlier, a secret Jew, Queen Esther, staved off annihilation at the hands of an enemy of the Jewish people, Haman. And now in this generation here, as Nehemiah has led them in rebuilding the wall, now they've decided, in light of all of this stuff and in light of all the grand history of the descendants of Abraham throughout the whole, what we would call the Old Testament, that they need to re-up their commitment to the deal that God made with them and that they made with God way back in the day. So they've gathered together, and for the last couple of chapters, we've been listening to all of these people who are gathered near the Watergate in the fall of 444 BC in Jerusalem. We're hearing them hear the word of God and internalize it. It's being explained to them in ways that they can understand. This is bringing both joy and regret and sadness. And there's a very real religious movement, a very real revival happening here that is about to culminate in chapter 10 with a very important group of people in this time and place, all stepping forward as representatives of a larger group of people to say, we are recommitting ourselves to the covenant that God has made with us, that our ancestors made with God, and then that our ancestors violated, but we're not going to violate it anymore. We're taking this thing seriously, and we want to put our names in ink. We want to put the reputation of our household for all of eternity next to this covenant. This isn't some secret Australian ballot thing. This is a very public ratification where there's going to be a roll call of people. Everybody on this list that we're about to go through is somebody who is a clear, documented descendant of Abraham. They have ownership of this covenant. They have generational participation in what's gone wrong and generational opportunity to get it right. And they want their names to be remembered from this day, that this is where they stand, regardless of what they got wrong in the past, regardless of what their ancestors got wrong in the past. This is who we are. This is what we commit ourselves to. Let everyone for all generations know that we were there and we committed to this. With that in mind, as we enter into Nehemiah chapter 10 here, which opens with this list of names of people who were there to ratify the covenant, we come to a fork in the road. On the one hand, it's a very dignified event. And so if we want to honor these people, probably a good way to do it would be for me to read you their names, and then their names would be read to you. And maybe you'd remember some of that. But then on the other hand, if one of the big themes in Ezra and Nehemiah is to remember, maybe we should do something to make it more memorable. I've decided to go with on the other hand. So what we're going to do today with the 27 verses that we're going to look at is I have chosen 3 chords. I've got my guitar here in front of me, and I haven't really per se rehearsed this. I have figured out that the 3 chords in question do in fact go together. They're familiar. I haven't put my finger on it yet. It's probably like 50 songs that I'm ripping off right here, and we're just going to, sing it. Because sometimes when you want to remember things, a whimsically, poorly written song off the cuff is the best way to do it. I have the first line figured out because it rhymes. It's a sneaky rhyme. Were and governor. Who would have thought that that would rhyme? You're probably wondering, wait, do you mean it? Are you actually going to do this? Because you have dignity and stuff, right? And you care about how people will remember you, don't you? Oh yeah, I'm doing this. I'm full of caffeine, and I have a Bible and a guitar in front of me, and we're here, and so this is about to happen. Behold, the chords and groove I have chosen. Nehemiah chapter 10. Those who sealed it were Nehemiah the governor, the son of Hakaliah, the son of Hakaliah. That's as far as I've planned. After this, we're going to see what happens together. We're going to discover this together. We're making music right now, real, genuine music. Okay? But you probably saw that one coming because Nehemiah's name's on the book. So the real question is, who else's name is on the list? And here that is, starting in Nehemiah 10, verse 2. These are names that I actually do want you to remember. Maybe you can just memorize them all from one time through. Okay, Johnny Cash style. I got this. Zedekiah, Seraiah, Azariah, Jeremiah, Pashur, Amariah, Milkijah, Hattush, Shebaniah, Maluk, Harim, Merimoth, Obadiah, Daniel, Gineath, Baruch, Meshullam, Abijah, Midjaman, Messiah, Bilgai, and Shemaiah. These were the priests. Okay, I gotta take a breather. I didn't think that was actually gonna work. It sort of worked. We more or less got through it. I do owe some apologies here because the point of all of this song is that I want you to remember the names, and I'm hoping this will help you remember. I think I got Shemaiah wrong, Shemaiah wrong. So there's a Shemaiah and a Shebaniah. Those are not the same guy. And then Meshullam, he appears in there again. I don't think I said his name right either. There are probably a couple other ones that I butchered, but they're all in there, and that's more or less it. Okay, next part. Dang it, I lost the groove. I don't remember what I was doing. I was like, there it is. It's all right, I can't do that and talk anyway. Whatever, what am I even doing? All right, this next section is the Levites. So what we're learning about here is there's a pecking order in terms of importance related to who these signees are. Obviously, Nehemiah, the guy who's behind the whole thing, is the first listed because that wouldn't be happening without him. So he's the most important signee. And then the priests are the next important signees, indicating the importance of the religious aspect of all of this. They really don't view this as a civil affair. It is first and foremost a religious affair. And then their assistants, the Levites, are up next. And we're going to need another chord for this because this is all structured different. It's not going to work the same way rhythmically. Let me try. Yeah, there we go. That's going to make it seem real. Nehemiah 10:9. Now here's the part about the Levites. Jeshua, the son of Azaniah. That sounded important. Binuai, the sons of Hendad. Why not? Kadmiel and their associate Shebaniah. That was associates is what I was trying to say there. Okay, what do we got next? Hodiah, Kelida, Peliah, Hanan, Micah, Rehab, Hashabiah, Zachar, Sherebiah, Shebaniah, Hodiah, Bani, and Beninu. Okay, well, we're keeping that. No, hold up a second. I got to regroup. This next part is the leaders of the people. The leaders of the people, I assume, would be like the heads of households, maybe even some of the nobles from earlier who ran afoul of Nehemiah when they tried to exploit the people economically. But now it looks like everybody's kind of on board. Bygones are bygones. And even if they didn't get everything perfectly right, these people represent all of the common folk who are involved there. Them signing off is kind of all of the individuals signing off as well. There's a lot of names here. I'm going to try to get them right, but we're just going to pick it back up with that fast version. Nehemiah 10:14, trying it again. The leaders of the people were Parash, Pahath, Moab, Elam, Zatu, Bani, Buni, Asgad, Vibai, Adonijah, Bigvai, Adin, Ater, Hezekiah, Azar, Hodiah, Hashum, Bezai, Harif, Ananeth, Nebai, Magpiash, Meshullam, Hazar, Meshezabel, Zadok, Jadua, Peliath, Hanan, Ananiah, Hoshiah, Hananiah, Hashub. Just a second, I got to turn the page. I did not think about that carefully. You've got Halahesh, Pilha, Shobek, Rehum, Hashbana, Messiah, Abaya, Hanan, Anan, Maluk, Harim. And last but not least, and because this is a passage about remembrance, don't you dare forget it. Last but not least, Bana. Just like the guy who played the Hulk in that one movie, Eric Bana. See, now you're going to remember it, at least one of these names, because of that mnemonic device. You are probably wondering how I'm gonna end this thing. Well, I don't have a plan. Didn't think that far ahead. I don't have a plan. Didn't even get that chord right. What we just heard right here is a list of all the names that were supposed to be included for all of time to be remembered as the people who signed and ratified the covenant in 444 BC in Jerusalem. If I just play this chord again and again and then have Jeff fade it out, it'll just feel like I meant to do this and like I had a plan, even though I clearly never ever at any point had a plan. But the point of all of this is that their names would be remembered and mentioned, and you definitely remember at least two of them because you know Nehemiah, and also you're going to remember Eric Bana, the actor, so you remember the last guy on the list. His name is Bana. Yeah, his name is Bana. You're going to remember Bana. Like the guy from who he played the Hulk. He's a bad guy in that one Star Trek movie too.
This podcast exists because many of you kick in to make it happen, even though you don't have to. Learn more at thetmbh.com/support. We're grateful because that supports our family.